Hello. Shabri, Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. We are welcome to this program. Can we start the program proper?
Assalamualaikum, Umar. Just to check, can you hear me?
We can start the program, Doctor. I'm hearing you very well.
Okay. So means that you, so I can start this program?
Yeah, we can start. Supposed to start at 2:30, but now it's 2:33. I think we can start.
Okay, so I shall start it right now.
Okay.
Okay, let me check whether I can share my screen.
Yeah, you can share it. Go ahead. Share it. It's not yet shared, but you can share it now.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Good evening. I'm Umar Abd Kadir, the moderator for the part 2 of this excellent session titled Strategy to Survive, Designing Your Thesis, organized by Center for Graduate Students, Graduate Student Association in collaboration with FKE, Postgraduate Student, ECLIPS, UTHM. On behalf of the organizer of this program, I would like to welcome each and every one of us and to extend my warm regards for all the participants in having their time to join us in this program despite their busy schedule of handling their research activities. We would also like to appeal to each and every participant to switch off his mic while the program is going on. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to introduce our speaker, who is in person of Dr. Herdawatie. Doctor, you are welcome. Dr. Herdawatie is a lecturer with the Faculty of Electrical Electronics Engineering with Mechatronics of University Hussein, Malaysia. She obtained her bachelor degree in electrical engineering in UTHM in electronics in 2001. Doctor did not stop there. She furthered her studies to obtain her master's in 2004. But meanwhile, from 2001 to 2003, she has been an instructor with UTHM. In 2004, she obtained her master's at the UTM with mechatronics and automatic control. She has been a lecturer on full-time with UTHM since 2004. Dr. Herdawatie further pursued her PhD program in the field of electrical and electronics engineering, specializing in computational intelligence with Universiti STEM Malaysia, USM. Okay, Doctor has been in the research group of underwater robotic research group since 2001. She lectured in mechatronics of the UTHM. After completing her PhD, she continued there as a lecturer. She is a senior lecturer with the Faculty of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. And also, Dr. Herdawatie is the Deputy Dean of Student Affairs and Alumni, and also a Secretary of IEEE Oceanic Engineering Society, Malaysian chapter. Our present research interests are in automatic control, localization, mapping, and operative system. Our research projects are mainly in the area of surface vehicle, underwater robotic platform development, aerial vehicle, and intelligent control algorithm. Doctor, you are welcome to this program. We are happy for you to be part to deliver your lecture here. Because of your excellent presentation in the first part of the program, many people deem it necessary for us to have this second part of the program, and that is why we are here with you. We would also like to appreciate your time for the first program and also welcome you to deliver your second session. We hope the second session is going to be excellent and important and also impact on us. Doctor is an expert. Doctor is ready to give us to share her experience with us. I would like to introduce and welcome Dr. formally, but please kindly off your mic so that we shouldn't interrupt the discussion. And at the end of the lecture, in an hour time, we are going to fill a feedback form so that the program can proceed. Doctor, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Omar, for the introduction and explanation about me. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi to everyone. So today, okay, I will share with all of you about the title of the Designing My Thesis Part 2. So I will mix in between Malay and English. So please bear with me, everyone. So this is actually more to sharing. This sharing is actually experienced by me and shared by my friend to me on how is actually the best way for you to understand actually how to design your thesis. Okay, because when we are doing research, okay, some of us are very good at in designing our thesis and we are good at writing, but some of us, there are we sometimes get lost when we design our thesis. So I hope that today, saya harap hari ni, so I can help all of you to actually see the big picture that at last, when I did my PhD, I saw that picture at my fourth year. So I'm hoping that can help all of you to see that the whole picture of the thesis at the early stage lah. So you can design your thesis earlier and then less confused in the route lah of writing your thesis. Okay, saya harap macam tu lah. So kalau ini more to my sharing lah. Setiap orang, everyone have their own way, and this is one of the way to help you lah to at least get the big picture of the thesis design. Okay, so I shall start my sharing. Can I start sharing now my screen?
Go ahead, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, I hope that you can see the sharing. Okay, I think they can see also my face there. Okay, so for today, okay, I would like to share with all of you about strategy to survive. Okay, this is a strategy to survive on designing your thesis during your research work. Okay, so in this part 2, I will go in deep. Saya akan pergi lebih dalam. So is macam mana sebenarnya the strategy. In part 1, I have mentioned about the overall and structure. How do you need to organize your thesis? Okay. So, however, I will also recall back because perhaps some of you is new and also some of you have forgotten about the steps. Okay. So, to make sure everything is okay, then I will start to revise a bit for part 1. Okay, kalau I'm too fast, kalau saya cepat sangat, please inform me. Saya ni boleh tahan juga kalau cakap ni cepat sangat. Okay. So, okay. So, for introduction for the new people outside there. So, my name is Herdawatie Abd Kadir. So, I'm looking at UTHM FKE. So, my work during my PhD, and now is more to the ocean observation system, more to mechatronics and robotics work lah for designing, more to hardware, more hardware and software part. So at least for this, my presentation today, it should help a lot for the engineering student, perhaps, yes. And for non-engineering student, it will give you an overview of how to map your work in your thesis, to make sure that your panel and the reader understand your flow of your work. Okay, itu sebenarnya main key idea today. So design your thesis. So generally, everyone knows, semua tahu the main content of your thesis should have something like this. So kita ada abstract, we have introduction, we have literature review, method, result, discussion, and conclusion. So every of this part is actually interrelated to this literature review part. And this literature review part is actually holding everything together to make sure that your work is your research work is significant to the field of study or knowledge, pool of knowledge. So this is actually the layout. So I will give you a bit of introduction step by step before we go in deep. Okay. So this everything start with the title page. Okay, and then we have the title. We have abstract. Then we have the content. Then we have the chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and bibliography and appendix. This is the arrangement is actually depends on your supervisor. Okay, listen again. This arrangement is actually depends on your supervisor. Every supervisor have their own design for the general structure of your thesis. Some supervisor would like it to be chapter 1 is your introduction, chapter 2 is your literature review, chapter 3 is your methodology, chapter 4 would be your result and discussion, and chapter 5 would be your conclusion. Okay, some supervisor would like it to be in a different arrangement. Sometimes, like if you have chapter 1 for introduction, chapter 2 is literature review, perhaps chapter 3 is your contribution number 1, chapter 4 contribution number 2, chapter 3 contribution number 4, means that contribution number 1 is reflecting your objective number 1, contribution number 2 reflecting your objective number 2, and chapter number the rest is will be the contribution to the chapter your contribution to your third objective, something like that. So this arrangement is actually you need to discuss with your supervisor, because if you just write down without discuss with your supervisor, perhaps it will be making masa you akan ditarik lebih panjang. You need to reorganize everything back. Okay, so this is the main content, so you need to discuss with your supervisor before you start your writing. That is the key point. Okay, if supervisor tak ada masalah, and then it should be fine. If the supervisor is he need you to follow this step, then you need to follow what he or she suggested for you, because she or he they know actually your feel of your research work when you're presenting, how is actually that domain is being designed in term of research and in term of the thesis arrangement. Tu memang standard. So memang paling penting supervisor je tahu your arrangement ni, and you can propose to her or she him how the organisation will be. Okay, so basically dah nampak yang dia punya basic general. Okay, saya rasa ni mudah sebab everything is you have been done. Waktu you buat FYP, your final year project during your degree, you dah buat. Then you can see the arrangement there. Okay, so again, before we start, okay, I would like to ask you, why are you doing this research? Okay, I think that you need to take about a few minutes, or not few seconds to think. Okay, why is actually you are doing this research? Okay, why? Okay, I think that there are many of thoughts. Ada banyak fikiran yang terkeluar daripada minda awak. Okay, so the main thing for you to really make sure that you know, and you need to know how to make sure that you complete your thesis, and make sure that your thesis would be organized in a very good design. Okay, so make sure that your reader understand what actually you are doing. Okay. Okay, so this is the main general why question. Okay, for your research work. Okay, so the biggest question is the impact and of your work. Okay, why it is so relevant. This is a recap. My hypothesis of your work. Who cares? Okay, the impact of your work. Why now? Okay, and after that you come up with your methodology. Okay, and then why you? In which part did you contribute? And the closure of the big question. Okay, this big question is very important. Okay, you need to think about it. Okay, because at the end of your viva or your thesis, you will answer everything here. So the examiner will really understand and okay, this is, yes, this is true. This is need to be done. Okay, something like that. Okay, so basically, this is a sample of time frame for research. Okay, so in order for you to get a very good thesis organization, you need to have a very good planning, okay, in terms of your work. Okay, for example, okay, I will share another sample of Gantt chart. Okay, so the planning of your work is very important. So this is actually sample of my work, okay, during my PhD. So you need to really organize your work. If you want to complete your PhD or your master, for example, master within 2 years. So you must allocate at least 6 months before that, but before you habis. Maksudnya 1.5 years is for the research work, okay, experimental, and also the writing, okay, and the lagi 6 bulan tu the rest of 6 months you need to bear in your mind that that is the process, the process of everything lah, revival, and then you need to do the correction, and then you need to wait for your examining, even your viva date, and you present, then you do correction. At last, then you get your PhD or your work, your master at that exact time. Okay, that the planning is really important. So in this kind, this is a sample. So how do you need to really organize your time? This is so important. Kalau lepas tu dia berubah, then this will be no problem. However, you have to have your plan. You need to stick this plan in front of you, and you need to try to make sure that you follow the plan. And of course, kita akan ada revision. That is normal. Tapi at least we get the rhythm lah. So to step things to step in. So sometimes we get lost kan, biasalah when you do research and you get lost lah. Get lost tu biasalah kan. You memang it's happen it's really happen. Okay, so and then this is a sample on the background study, on the designing part. So we have the time frame, and this is my second part, covering my objective. Is actually covering my objective. The first one is on the background part. This is actually my first objective, I think, at that time. Okay, then it's changed, and then we have the second objective. I will know which part will be covered, and then on the first year, how many papers I would like to achieve, how many journals, how many conference, and in which part of my thesis that I would like to have a bit of writing here and there lah, supaya kita tak terkejar-kejar afterwards. So this is really important, and yes, perhaps it will change a lot. Okay, however, you need to have that guideline lah, for in order for you to complete your work in time lah. Okay, that is the most important part of your work. Okay, so I hope that on the planning side, okay semua. On the planning side.
Well, with you.
Okay, I hope that everyone are okay lah. Yes, you need to sometimes you are very good, sometimes you are okay, sometimes you are not okay. However, make sure that the speed that's you need to what they say that you need to watch for your speed lah. Sometimes you can be slow, sometimes you need to be fast. However, you need to if you have a timeline of 3 years, then you should have a certain speed. If you have no problem, then you are going for 3 years, tapi you punya speed tu you have gone very good, and however the outcome is not that good, and then you need to adjust somewhere lah, here and there lah, to make sure that you complete within the time that you need. Okay, and also that you need to inform your supervisor. If you want to complete in 3 years, then you need to tell your supervisor. Doctor, Prof, I need to complete my PhD or my work within this time. Can you, dia kena tahu your supervisor need to know. And when they know, actually they will help you a lot. If you do not mention, perhaps sometimes, okay, they perhaps because of the constraint that you are being delayed, something like that kan, dia akan menyebabkan you lambat. Tetapi if you really push your supervisor to make sure that you finish, make sure if you push your supervisor you want to finish at 3 years, okay, so be prepared, okay, be prepared. So they will push you for that 3 years, okay. However, there are, you can adjust lah here and there with supervisor. So this communication between supervisors and students are very important. During my time, I always make sure that I meet my supervisor almost every day lah, something like that at that time lah, because my supervisor is we see at the lab, and his office is nearby, so he come every day check us something like that. And also if he's so busy, then he will come at least a week, once a week, and just to check us, something like that. Okay, so make sure if you make sure you always make sure yourself see your supervisor sekerap yang mungkin, as frequent as you can, okay, to make sure that if you get lost and then you can get back in the track faster. Kalau you sway away, you dah teralun ke tempat lain, it will be difficult for you to come back. You need lot of effort. Okay. However, yes, you can come back to the route. However, you need time. Okay. So pastikan, make sure always plan yourself. Okay. You must have daily, inilah mesti ada consistency in your work. Okay. That is the most important part lah. Okay. Supaya tak menyesal. Okay, itu saya buat waktu saya buat PhD. I have consistent time. Saya akan datang every day. I have at least how many hours that I need to spend for my PhD work. Okay, itu penting supaya you tak menyesal. Okay, and before you design your thesis, you need to make sure that you read papers and thesis based on your research nature. So meaning that waktu saya nak buat my thesis, I read a lot of papers based on my research nature, and also I will choose 3 best thesis that I would like to follow in my writing. Okay, so you nampak nanti dia punya steps. That 3 best thesis should be coming from your field, not other people's field. Itu paling penting. And yes, you can have some of thesis that you are thinking that, oh, ni writing this is very good lah, so I want to follow it. Should be no problem. However, you need to have a guideline of 3 thesis based on your research domain. Really on your research domain and not so general. Should be directly on your research domain. Okay, you Google je dekat Google, and then try to find thesis PDF or something like that. Banyak so you can find over there. Okay, so can we continue to the next slide? Okay, so this is recap again. So what is introduction? This is the what, how, and why. What is the literature review? It's why and how. And methodology is actually how. Okay, and you have your results and also your conclusion. This is a research proposal punya sample. Okay, so bear in mind again that what is the difference between thesis and doctoral. Okay, and for masters, you can derive your work from other researcher. Okay, no problem. However, for your PhD, you need to you need to be presenting work, your own research work. Okay, so be careful with this. Okay, for PhD students. Okay, so in terms of complexity, the master will be medium, PhD will be high complexity. And for master, you need to prove your ability to analyze and think critically. And however, in PhD, you need to prove that you are expert. Okay, no one is expert better than you. Okay, and that is the main different thing. You must make sure you understand this, because this will guide you throughout your writing. Okay, this is really important because when the panel see is master thesis or it is a PhD thesis, it will be different in terms of assessing these 2 theses. Okay, so The first thing that you need to do is to untangle your writing process. Okay, this is quite yeah, this is quite normal when during your research ni lah process. This is untangling all your research process. You need to untangle one by one, not everything at the same time, but you have to untangle one by one, and to make sure that you really can organize back all the untangled things in your mind. Okay, so whatever you're doing now, you need to put it on a thesis or on a paper, whether you like it or not. That is the thing that we need to do lah. Itu memang kita terpaksa lah to make sure that people understand. And then we need to make sure that the writing flow is easy to understand. Okay. So this is actually a very general way for you to map your mind about your thesis. Okay. The first thing is, if you can see here, this is your background reading. Okay. And then you pick a title, and then you do a literature search, and then you do a critical analysis based on what you have done. And then after this process, then you can mind map your research work or your thesis. Okay, this is really crucial. Okay, and this mind map is very important because it really show that you really understand your work and also your research domain. And then if you have that your mind map, and then we can start our plan and structure of the thesis, and then we start to write, and then you have several references. Then surely you will need edit and proofread. If you are not very good, and then find a good proofreader. Okay, during my PhD, I do proofread my work about 2 times. Okay, to make sure that we do not submit a thesis that is it's a lousy thesis okay, because some of it's a very simple thing lah, kecil-kecil tu kadang-kadang kita tak perasan kan, tapi kita punya examiner they saw it. Okay, so we kalau boleh kita try to reduce that. Okay, kalau kita reduce that, then they will not have many issues lah during your presentation, because they will flip page by page. Okay, during for master or PhD, depends on your panel, they will flip page by page. Okay, so make sure kita boleh bagi less error lah in our work, and then feedback, and then we reflect lah. So this is the process. Okay, in my design thesis of this second part, I would like to this is a sample of how do you really write academic writing. So you can refer to this website. This is very good. So it help you on your language term and writing skill for your academic writing. Remember, thesis is academic writing, so you need to know how academic writing is being done. Okay, in terms of academic language, then you need to use in your thesis something like, contoh you have, kalau kita selalu pakai perkataan carry out, so you use perform, talk about, and then you use discuss and look up to, respect, something like that. And you need to have a very fewer words that you need to, which is concise represent your idea. Itu paling penting. Nanti saya akan sharekan at last apa-apa buku yang is very good for you to use and guide lah. Sebab saya waktu during my writing, I do have several books to as my guideline lah, in terms of selecting the right words and the what need to be in each paragraph tu. Itu penting. Okay. Okay, so this is also a sample of your phrases lah yang you need to usually use in your academic writing. Okay, there are several selected words that you need to use to make sure that your work is up to the standard. Okay, okay. So in terms of construction, abbreviation, ini sepatutnya saya tersilap susun pula, patutnya kat belakang. Okay, sorry, tapi dia keluar dulu. Okay, so ini adalah things that you need to really understand in terms of writing. This is really important because if you make if you understand earlier, then you will do less correction afterward. Jadi dia akan memudahkan your process of writing and thesis tu lah. Okay, so the first tips that I would like to give to you, okay, before you design your thesis, you need to have a draw up of a workflow of model of your thesis. You at least you dalam your mind, you will have that the idea. Okay, saya tak nampak chat ni sebenarnya. If any chat nanti saya tengok. Okay. Can we get sample of timeline? Okay. Okay, tu nanti saya akan ni lah share. Share nanti I will share with Umar. Okay. Okay, so this is actually what I have shared previously in part 1. Okay, so it will start with issue. Okay, kita recall back. So when you want to do your research, it will start with a problem, issue. So from this issue, okay, you know that this is an issue. So who say that this is an issue? So you need to prove it. Okay, so we need at least several of references that say that this is an issue. Okay. Because this is actually your problem. It comes with the problem first, okay? And who said that this is a problem? Bukan you yang cakap, You need to have a researcher that agree that this is actually an issue. And what is the consequences if this issue is not been solved? So you will say that there will be a problem A, problem B, and problem C will happen. So this is the main structure of your work. Here, when you are doing research, when you are doing your viva, this is one of the main part that the panel will ask, that they need to know that is really an issue. Then you need to say who said it and the consequences that will happen if this issue is not being solved. Okay, and this is the core of your thesis. And then comes everything. Lepas tu baru datang. From the issue, okay, you will come out with your objective. Okay, and this objective is actually coming from the issue. Nanti saya akan tunjukkan. I will show you the sample. Objective will come with objective 1, 2, and 3. Depends on your work. Okay, in this case, I will generally put it 3. Okay, datang daripada issue, problem statement, it will come out with 3. Objective 1, 2, 3. And then from this objective, usually it's better for you to limit the scope of your objective. Terus based on the objective. This is tips. This is just the tips and depends on your research domain. Okay, and from this scope, okay, you will know that each of your objective here is actually will be means that every objective you need to show it in your results. Tu yang saya nak cakap. So if you put objective 1, 2, 3, then means that you need to have result for objective number 1. You need to have result for objective number 2. You need to have result for objective number 3. Okay, this is really important, because if you not achieve your objective, then you will not pass your thesis lah. Okay, so make sure if you put it as an objective, then you need to have a result for that objective. Okay, so in order for you to get that result, there must be a method for each objective lah. For the objective number 1, objective number 2, and objective number 3. Okay, lepas ni saya tunjuk this is just an overview to show you that macam mana dia punya flow, okay, of the thesis, because you need to make sure that they related to each chapter is related, dan the flow should be in very good sequence, for the panel to really easily understand you. Okay, and then you have your result there, and then the conclusion is actually covering everything. From this main model, actually from here that you can see that you can have your title. Okay, and the title here is actually mostly is reflecting objective of your work, methodology of your work, and also your finding. Okay, significant here. So daripada sini kita akan dapat the title. Perhaps if you are doing PhD or a very complex master project, title tu you akan renew at last nanti you will actually get the real title for your work melainkan memang betul-betul dah spesifik lah and then you will have that title lah. Jadi janganlah rasa macam apa alamak, title pun tak confirm. Yeah, no problem. Title memang tak confirm until you have done your work, really understand your work. Sebelum tu it should be general, and at the end of the process then it should be very specific, okay, based on your contribution lah, on that research. Okay, something like that. Okay, saya rasa yang ini boleh faham Okay, nanti tak apa, kita akan tengok contoh. Saya takut awak lost je ni sebenarnya. Saya cakap seorang-seorang. Okay, boleh? Can anyone respond?
Huh?
Boleh respond? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear. We're hearing you, doctor. Very clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I proceed. Okay. So basically this is example macam mana how people do actually draw their model for each chapter or relationship between chapter. Contoh macam ni. Dia kata okay, this is chapter 1. So basically ada research objective, scope, importance of the research and background. And then from this research dia ada chapter ni lah, dia ada several parts more. And then they design it for this part is actually for the literature review, and this is for chapter 3. And then from here they got chapter 5, 6 and 7. This is the connection. This is example this is example of other people how they model their thesis. So daripada thesis tu sebenarnya dia dah boleh, daripada this model sebenarnya dia dah tahu For example, dia kata okay, for this chapter 1, this part or research aim objective, something like that we should have objective here. Okay, this should be 1 or 2 paragraph for the first page. They can say that this is actually coming from the second page. We will cover at paragraph number 1 and 2 or something like that. This will come at page number 3, paragraph number 1, something like that. And actually some of good research student, they can map their thesis and the content, okay, that they when they look at this, when the panel asks, okay, now I would like to see your action base here, and also that they know that this action based part is actually at page number what, at paragraph what, because the arrangement, how they arrange their idea in their mind, and then they put it in the thesis based on the paragraph and the paragraph. So this is one of the tips our student are really good when the panel say, okay, now I would like to say this. Dia kata, okay, now please refer to page 27, paragraph number 3 or something like that. Because they really have their thesis design model in their head. And they just can, you can ask them and then they just can tell you which page and which paragraph. That one is one of tips that I get from one of my friends, okay. So this is also a sample of dissertation concept idea. You can see that a lot in terms of mind map. In order for you to really understand the big picture of your thesis, you can do something like this. So it will help you a lot. And also this placement is also can be put in a chapter based on the paragraph. Okay, paragraph here, and you know which paragraph is actually mentioning about something that you need to know. Okay, itu tips antara satu tips. Kalau you dapat this model of your thesis, then bila you viva and you will be very good at it. Okay, you should be having no problem. And in this, kita keluar lagi. Ini contoh juga. Okay. Yang ini juga adalah contoh. Okay. So I will start with the title. Okay. Okay. Sebelum saya tunjuk sampel, so I would like to start with the title first. Okay. So recalling back that title usually contain method, objective and significant. Three things. Okay. So contohnya this is a title, a sample of title. Kita ada a new consistency validation approach to enhance the quality of functional requirement for sustainable health software. So dia ada method stated there, kita ada objective, the main objective and then we have the significant. So this is also the same thing. I would like to share an example for the title of this one is a new underwater sensor with biomimic hydrogel cupula. You can say something like that before you put significant, or you want to add a significant there. A new underwater sensor with biomimic hydrogel cupula for high sensitivity flow characterization. Okay, And the arrangement of method, objective and significant may varies depends on your work. Okay, tu key. Cuba tengok balik. Tengok balik tajuk awak. Do your title have this component? Okay. Okay, kalau ada, then should be reflecting your work lah. Should be no problem. If not, then you need to redo back. Okay, bear in mind the method, perhaps when you get deep into your research work, it will be changed. Changing depending on your deepness of your work. Okay, itu normal. So the problem, okay, the most important part, mesti ada problem. If it is not a problem, then it will not be a research. Okay, so you must make sure that you understand that. Okay, ni saya pergi contoh je lah sebab saya nak tunjuk sampel, saya takut tak sempat. Okay, so your research objective, make sure kat sini banyak buat kesalahan most of the student make mistake here. Make sure that your objective need to be specific, or we can call it SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and tangible. Okay, so make sure that usually it must be measurable because you need to show it in your results. Okay, if you have your objective, 4 objective, meaning that 4 objective must be shown in your results. Okay, dia tak boleh I just put there. Okay, no, if you put and then you need to show your results. Okay, for example, to analyze the parameter, to design, to formulate, to test and to compare. So maksudnya you can show it in your results. Okay. Okay, this is one of the example of my friend. Okay, so to design a pavement for underwater usage that resonate in MF and low and HF. So this is actually for microelectronic field. So saya sebenarnya focus on electrical field. For today, I have sample for my part on the mechatronic and robotic. We have a computer and also a network and communication punya sample lah. I would like to share with you. Okay, macam dalam kes ni nampak first they design, after that they fabricate and then they characterize. So dia akan pastikan the writing of the whole of their thesis tu is be on this sequence. Okay, first to design, to fabricate, to characterize. Scope and limitation is very, very important. You need to set boundaries. If not, you will have very broad work. Tak boleh. You need to set boundaries. Okay, this is really important for you to really understand the boundaries of your work. Please discuss with the supervisor for this part. Okay, this is a sample of my work. How do I really actually put my literature review of my work? Okay, most of my part I do have graph of this kind of review. Okay, because I would like the people to really, bila dia nampak dia, once they saw this table, then they really understand that macam mana sebenarnya I organize my literature work and my literature arrangement of my work. Okay, ni antara contoh Dia mind map. I would like to stress here that the mind map is really important. Kalau you can get this mind map, that means that you can organize your thesis well. So this is things that I use during my PhD to make sure that my panel understand and people understand how is the flow of my literature work. Okay. And this literature work is actually covering my objective. So I'm covering my objective number 1 here, then I'm covering this part for my objective number 2, and I am covering this part for my objective number 3. And these 3 objectives come from my problem statement. Kejap lagi saya akan tunjukkan awak my slide. This is just ni. Okay, so we will go to the sample. So are you ready? Okay, this sample is quite confidential. Okay. Mine is not so lah, tapi my friend yes. Okay. So this is my part. So this is me. Okay. At 2017. Okay. So this is actually a structure of my presentation. Okay. For my Viva. Bear in mind that if you write your thesis, you kena pastikan nanti you dapat bayangkan how you want to present to your panel. Dia kena ada relationship. Sebab bila you tulis tu, you pastikan you fikir macam mana nak present nanti. Okay, make sure that it is align supaya senang untuk you fahamkan. Okay, during your writing and your presentation. Yang pentingnya for people to understand and nampak your work tu kat mana. Okay, so I will start with the introduction. Okay, saya assume no sound here, so means that everyone is okay. So I really need to go fast ni, ada beberapa sampel, takut tak sempat je. Okay, so introduction. Okay, so kita akan nampak this will be a very general biasa-biasa introduction mesti start daripada general, broad to specific Okay, so in this my work I'll start because my title is Cooperative Consensus Simultaneous Localization and Mapping for Multi-Beam System. So I will start with my application. Depends on your supervisor. Okay. In my part, kita akan start dengan very broad, general issue, and then kita akan pergi dia narrow down. Okay. So looking at the big problem, and then come down to a very specific problem, and then looking at how it will benefit. And in my part, I will look at specifically at this airship, and then the issue is actually the localization of this airship at this open water, sea water. Okay, issue is at the sea water, and I need to tell people that this is really a problem, and then and I show the trend of the world for this specific field. And this is actually before I open the discussion, I need to make sure that my reader or my panel really understand what is my purpose of implementation. How will be the implementation of my application will be impacting to the whole system. Ini penting Dia tengok ada supervisor dia suka pergi application dulu. Ada supervisor dia nak pergi specific. Okay, you need to discuss with your supervisor because mine is on the hardware part. So I need to make sure that they see lah the connection because I have Blim here, I have Boy here to make sure they really understand what happened between this framework which be reflecting in my work. Okay, so from there, okay, I come up with the problem. Okay, so in this case, I say that the navigation of the open sea with fewer landmark will contribute to high certainty. Okay, and causes by blah blah blah. Okay, because of this problem, I require a reliable localization mapping method, something like that. Okay, okay, excuse me. Okay, sekejap saya tak nampak sini because something is blocking my screen here. Sekejap saya tutup. Okay. Okay, so you can see that ni adalah problem. The upper part is my problem. And actually I tell already here that because of this problem, I require a reliable localization mapping method to handle large spurious detection from the dynamic changes and has ability to reduce the localization uncertainty. Because of this problem, I need to have this one. Okay, and this is actually my objective afterward. Okay, then the second problem will be the issue on the multi-agent that does not form a collation during the mission might render network to be disconnected and lose group coherent. Okay, coherent. So you can see that because of that problem, I require a framework for a group which cooperate under the same goals to achieve fast and good decision. So this is actually my problem statement. Kalau you tengok the way I write in the thesis, if you want to see, if it is okay for you, saya tunjuk terus lah so you can really understand macam mana is the flow. Where's my problem statement? Okay. 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 Can you nampak tak ni? Can you see this? Okay, contoh ni in my thesis just to make sure you understand. Okay, the problem contoh, the first one is what I mentioned previously, and this is actually the way I write my problem statement in my thesis tapi dekat presentation will be ni lah kena adjust sikit. Make sure if this is a problem statement, you need to have citation because you must have proof that this is a problem. So I do inform by citation, and I do inform the researcher that doing the same and having the same problem, and also lots to make sure that in this case I do justify there is no evidence has been implemented in previous work. Okay, and also for the second part, um, you will have a depends on your supervisor. In my case, I do separate it into two parts to make easier to understand. Kalau supervisor you nak dalam paragraph, then follow your supervisor, jangan risau. Your supervisor will always write. Okay. So in this term, you can see that in this writing, I also have citation of other people work, because this is a problem. And this is it's not you claim it as a problem. This is really a real problem. Okay, so you can see that this is a sample. So how the problem statement is being presented in your thesis. Okay, so we kita come back to the slide. Boleh faham And at this lower part, I did not mention in my thesis. This is on my slide. Require reliable, something like that is on my slide. Okay. So daripada sini, from this problem statement, then come your objective. And I have my main objective. So in my main objective, I say that I would like to design a cooperative decision-making technique using simultaneous localization and mapping for multi-beam system. So this is actually reflecting back my title. Okay, this is reflecting back my title. Okay, and I have sub-objective. The first one is I would like to design localization and mapping method for aerial vehicle. Okay, second one is to design cooperative framework for multi-agent system. And the third one is to propose and improve cooperative decision-making technique. So this is actually, if you can see here that this number one is actually my problem. So my problem statement number one, and this is number 2 and 3 is actually come from my problem statement number 2 here. Okay, this is actually from here I have my objective number 1. Kat bawah ni, at the bottom one here, I have separated into 2 objective more. Okay, itu cara kita come up with our objective. Okay, so dia punya relationship tu penting. Okay, ada soalan? If you have any question. Kalau tak ada, saya proceed Okay, kalau ada, just interrupt Okay. Any question?
I think, Doctor, you can proceed while people note their observation. At the end of the day, there is going to be Q&A at the end of the lecture.
Okay. I have no problem. If you want to interrupt, then it should be okay. Kalau tak pun, I can wait afterward.
Okay.
Okay. Because sometimes we could, if it's get longer and then people will start lost. Okay. So this is how I put my scope. So you can see that every of my objective here, this is I need to have this first one, BLIM modeling and design, because I'm doing hardware. So before I can do other work, I need to make sure that I have inilah scope of my work for my model and hardware part. So this is my first part. Okay. Then this is actually my objective number 1, my SLAM algorithm. So I mentioned here, I only cover this kind of thing. This is actually my objective number 2. I only cover this kind of area. And okay, this is actually 1 and 2 here. This is 1 and 2, and this is actually my prototype. Okay, this is my prototype part. Okay, but because of the hardware part. So actually on the scope, we can separate it. You can mention it in objective 1, 2, and 3. Okay. The design will be dynamic. Depends on your work and your design. How do you want your thesis to really understand? This susah sikit because everyone have their own work. However, you need to adjust. And I took about 2 years to adjust my arrangement of my thesis, something like that. Okay, to make sure that people can really understand what I'm doing because of the broad area that been covered. Okay, so the literature review part. So you can see here that this is what I have shown you previously. So this is the way and the topic covered in my literature review. And this SLAM aerial vehicle Kalman filter is actually my section for 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. This is 2.3, 2.3.1, 2.3.2, 2.3.3, something like that. So from this figure, I know which paragraph of my literature search that, like my literature review that I've mentioned in my text. So it's easier for you to understand. Oh, this is the flow. So I can understand that. And which you cover, you are covering your objective. So this part of 2 point, for example, this is, I don't remember. I think that this is 2.1. And this 2.1 is actually covering objective number 1. Okay, so this 2.1 is actually 2.21, 2.22, 2.23, and something like that. Forgot already. However, the arrangement is something like that. So when the panel see, then the panel can really understand, okay, I saw. From here, people will see the deepness of your work. So from the broad to deep. To remember that research work need to be, first will be broad. However, you need to make it narrow to make sure that you have the deepness of your work. So from here, if you can see the deepness of the knowledge that we dig in. So that is actually give confidence to the panel that, oh, okay, this work is really deep, and this is a PhD level, or this is a master level. Okay, kita akan nampak from this, sini je kita dah nampak, oh, this is deep, not broad, this is deep, and that is what we want. Okay. Okay, next is on the how do I organize my literature review. Okay, the writing is yes over there. However, I do template it into several table lah for to make understanding. So in my work, because I'm doing hardware, I usually have the description, environment, and platform. And this my SLAM framework is actually my objective number 1. My communication part is actually my objective number 2, and my decision making is actually my objective number 3. Okay, this part is actually at the last part. Before that, okay, I show to you how was my literature review for my work. Okay, this is starting with my basic SLAM. Okay, I need to show the fundamental of my work. So what is the standard SLAM that has been used? Okay, then we start to dig with my filter technique lah. Filter tadi I mentioned in the table. So I do compare. Saya nak tunjuk. I want to show you the table. Okay. Panjang sikit. Sorry. Okay. So I do tablize my work for each of that part lah. So this is the filter, who doing this, the description, what is the advantage, and what is the advantage of that particular method. Okay, this is for the filter part. Okay, and this is for the visual SLAM part. Okay, sorry. So it's mentioning about the camera configuration. Okay, who are using the monocular camera? Okay, and this is the description. Okay, sorry. Okay, dia tak nak. Okay, sekecilkan. Okay, so who are doing this monocular part, and what is the description, advantage and disadvantage, and the stereo is these people are doing this. And then you can see, nampak tak sekarang? How do you, because kita nak cakap, kita nak pakai that method, and we need to understand who is the people who are using this kind of things lah in our work. Okay, that is for the camera part. And then I summarize on my visual SLAM method. So from that visual SLAM method that I have chosen, based on the flowchart that you have seen previously, I need to say that the core solution of my work, okay, who's doing it, what platform, what type of sensing, okay, because I would like to select my feature and descriptor punya method afterward, and I need to have this summary. Okay, this is for my VSLAM part. Kita banyak sikit Okay, and then on the multi-agent part, so I do also do tablize on my multi-agent part. Okay, sorry okay, dia lari-lari pula. Okay, so we can see that what is my, because I would like to compare it with my application, because I'm looking at the ocean. on the surface or an area. So saya ceritalah. So for the multi-agent, because I'm doing the multi-agent, I need to see what application been using multi-agent, description sedikit, apa platform dia, siapa yang buat, okay. And then selepas tu baru saya concludekan everything, sambung, and then lastly I pilih yang the best sample that suit my design lah. So kat sini saya dah cover for objective number 1 here. So we have objective number 2 here for my communication, and this is objective number 3. So it's not directly lah macam yang you nampak kat dalam tu. Kalau you tengok table dia pun banyak okay. So lepas tu kita buat critical punya ni lah, critical punya comment here and there lah. Itu contoh contoh, jangan panik pula. It's a sample it's a sample. So how do we actually bila I present I punya viva, saya akan pilih 15 daripada 15 tu or 10, you akan cakap the 3 best work lah yang very near to your work. Macam dalam case ni saya tunjuk this one lah. Okay, mereka 3 orang ni adalah the nearest lah to my work. Okay, dan kita ni lah. Okay, ni contoh how part lah. Okay, tak ada apa-apa. Okay, and then kita masuk pada methodology and implementation. So this is actually my mind map for my methodology. Okay, and methodology kan, if you are engineering student, perhaps it's not, kalau you bukan non-engineering student, dia ada very general, I think that research method yang boleh di follow. Tapi if you are engineering student, sometimes we get lost lah bila kita tengok yang the general methodology. So this is actually my methodology. So how I do design the writing for the methodology part. Saya pecahkan for first phase ni, saya adalah objektif saya yang pertama. This is my first objective covering here. Okay, so this is my second objective for the multi-agent part. And then I have my third objective here covering for ni lah phase number 3. And then selepas tu baru saya ada extra here lah, because I'm doing hardware, so I need to profit on hardware. Okay, so this I need to have benchmarking and then doing the validation. Okay, this is a sample macam mana you nampak. And the writing process in my thesis is actually in the same sequence. So I have my problem and then I have my objective, and my literature review pun dalam sequence yang sama, and methodology juga dalam sequence yang sama. My result also in the same sequence. So bila panel tu baca, dia akan nampak ni dia punya is the same sequence. So we have block here and there. So senang nak faham, okay? Okay, so this is example macam mana saya terangkan saya punya methodology, because I'm doing hardware. I need to, saya kena mention dulu lah pasal hardware. So you need make sure that if you have any picture, label it, jangan ni. So kalau boleh buat kerja tu terus terus buatlah nanti, sebab nanti bila kita buat kita punya thesis, kita akan jumpa banyak hole here and there. Dan that hole tu nanti kita kena fill in susah. So better make sure that you really understand and make sure yang hole yang you tinggalkan, maksudnya it's not complete, it's not that big. Okay, if it is big, and then it will be problem. Maksudnya during your work, kalau you ada writing paper or you're doing simulation, make sure if you're doing simulation about time frame jadi 0 sampai 40 second, make sure that the consistency is there for every result. Jangan tiba-tiba kat sini 5 second, kat sini 10 second, dekat the other part is 40 second, the other part is 100 second. Then it will be not align. Nanti panel akan argue, dia akan tengok why do you choose here and here, why you did not consistent, macam tu. Itu adalah perkara-perkara yang selalu dia akan tanyalah. Okay, this is the main overview of my work, just to show them the main frame so they can understand. Okay, and then I go deep into my my first objective. So previously, this blue color is actually informing that the panel, that is the part that I enhance and I introduce a new thing dalam my work. So this is actually my BLIM model. Then this is the inside of the algorithm for my BLIM model for my objective number 1. So I showed it here. So then I put it in just to show the modeling part. So the enhancement part that which in this case for the algorithm enhance at step 6 and step 8. So this is the algorithm that enhance it there. Okay, and then on the communication side, okay, on the data association side. So I highlight here, this is the part that I'm doing the new one. Okay, so this blue color, kalau saya rasa you can see that. Yang lain tu adalah standard, and this blue color is actually the new thing that I introduced in the method. Okay. Okay. So I highlight that. So this is because of the objective number 2, I need to make sure that I need to inform that about my formation of my multi-agent system due to the issues or the analysis, why I do choose this, why I do choose this hardware. Okay. And what is the type of this is objective number 3, the decision making of my work, what type of decision that I've been using. Okay, so this is actually my final prototype, just to show before I'm showing the results. Okay, that is the part of the methodology. So I'm doing this hardware, saya buat sendiri I'm doing this hardware, melainkan yang this one is big, so this is a teamwork lah. Yang lain ni saya buat sendiri Okay, so I have 3 beam and 6 beacon. Something like that. Okay. So this is a sample of my experimental data set. So I'm collecting data for my experiment. So for indoor, for outdoor, for pool, and also for the sea test at Pulau Bidong, Terengganu, and at CMAX Marine Coastal Studies dekat Penang. Okay. So the result here, okay, is actually following my objective. This is my objective number 1. This is objective number 2. This is objective number 3. And macam saya cakap tadi, I have to show my experimental lah. Sebab my supervisor arrangement, dia tak nak saya tunjuk hardware because they say that yes, it is new, however you cannot claim. Macam tu lah. You are doing very banyak kerja you buat, and then suddenly you cannot claim. Okay, follow your supervisor. Supervisor tahu. Okay, so just follow your supervisor. So this is how I arrange my work. Okay. Okay, so this is how the result being presented in my work. So I have the plan before I start designing my work. So I need to do an analysis first. Remember that if you are doing research work, you need to have research element. You need, before you do something, you need to do research analysis before you decide on the specific method or arrangement or parameter. Okay, memang itu a normal thing. So I've done this and this is first, okay, and then I choose the double hull of BLIM model before I develop the hardware. And then what type of for image detection tu, what type of descriptor and detector. Kalau you perasan previously in my thesis, I do plot it in the table just to see what type of detector and descriptor. Kalau kompleks sangat minta maaf just to show you the flow, the flow of my work. And then from that method, in this case I do compare about 9 method. I take the 3 best, and then I'm doing a standard testing and also the one that I enhance. Okay, just to show the performance of the system. This is a test that for the communication part that I test it at Pulau Bidong, Terengganu, to see the signal effect on my data reading lah. For the long term punya signal passing lah because it affect my work. So saya check lah. Okay. Okay, this is result on the SLAM design on data association tadi. Kita nak detect that boy sebab dia tak ada landmark. This is my problem, the first one. Okay, tak boleh detect landmark. So I need to show lah in this work I able to, this is using a standard, and then this is my enhanced method that is able to detect my boy on the water, on the water ripple environment. Okay, so this is showing that how the method able to detect in clear water and dark water. Okay, so this is a sample also, just to show lah the success of my work. And this is my SLAM plotting lah for my whole work of objective number 1. And this is objective number 2. So I do show several work here. Okay. Okay, so kita, and the arrangement of that hexagon, square, triangle punya node location here and there, ada banyak benda lah to be considered. Okay, so the formation dah complete, and then I go to the decision making part. This is adjective number 3. So how it's been done. Okay, so the selection here and there. Okay, okay, and then I conclude. Then when I conclude my work, that I mention back my objective, that I have fulfilled the objective number 1, objective number 2, and objective number 3. So that is a wrap. Okay, it's a wrap. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is in terms of I do mention about the contribution. Okay, I think that is the first sample. Boleh lagi tak ni? Larat lagi tak? So go to the second sample. Okay. So sekarang nampak tak sikit macam mana relationship tu? Bila you susun, if you organize it well, and then it will come well in your thesis. However, to organize that, you really need times to adjust here and there. Saya ambil masa banyak, and for your information, my arrangement kita ubah banyak kali. I do took 2 years to make sure that this arrangement is nampak senang, very easy to understand. Because banyak benda kan, and then you need to really take times lah for you. Okay, this is another sample. So I have this second sample and a third one. I try to stop at 4:15. Okay, so. And this is, for example, a design and implementation of multi-platform indoor-outdoor tracking. Ada chat ke? Saya tak boleh tengok sebenarnya. Tengok sekejap. Okay. Can collaborate on. Okay, nanti saya akan pergi. Okay. So, okay, this is the title. You must remember, the title will reflect your method, your method, significant, and lagi satu apa? Ada siapa-siapa ingat? Objective. Okay, good. Okay. So, kalau kita tengok in this slide, okay, ini dia banyak sikit. Ni arrangement dia lain sikit. It depends on supervisor, okay, the arrangement. Okay, first macam biasa, broad, very general. Dia akan terangkan relationship throughout the process, pergi narrowing. And then dalam case yang sama, dia pun juga tunjukkan the purpose of implementation. Dia tunjukkan general implementation because this researcher is doing hardware like mine. So they need to show the overall implementation lah supaya panel faham. Oh, kat mana? Okay. Okay. And then the objective in this case, kita nampak kat sini keyword dia to design, to implement, to compare. Okay, this is really important for you to make sure that your objective is using the SMART criteria. Okay, in terms of the requirement here, okay, so in terms of hardware, in terms of software, in terms of network, application and testing measurement. So the researcher show one by one. This is based on his design, okay, and this is on the literature part. This is how the organization is being made, okay, to make sure that the panel really understand. Terus nampak, terus faham. Terus nampak comparison why. Dekat sini yes, no. So dia terus nampak okay. Then okay, it's true apa yang you buat ni. Okay, convincing, okay. Okay, in terms of methodology, okay. Because this researcher is improving on the tag part of the hardware. So dia tunjukkan this is the existing tag. Macam saya tunjukkan the standard algorithm. And then saya tunjuk saya punya enhance. Okay, ini is existing tag. Yang ini adalah proposed tag. So nampak tak? Ini kat mana dia tambah? The blue one is reflecting that this is actually the new enhancement that been made by me. Memang no argument. Panel tu terus nampak. Then there will not be big issue sebab dia dah nampak. Okay, confirm lah dia cakap. Okay. Okay, this is on the methodology. Dia tengok terus kepada dia punya design, okay, directly to dia punya design, okay, and then to show, to highlight dia punya contribution. Okay, contoh macam ni, dia tunjukkan daripada tag kepada reader and kepada dia punya GUI for dia punya system. Okay, so this is on the communication part. This is actually the existing and this is a proposed. Dia enhance this new part, nampak so directly automatic bila orang baca thesis orang nampak oh dekat sini you enhance, then tak payah cerita banyak, then people be okay, I understand this. Okay, and this in term of dia punya protokol dia tunjuk kat mana-mana yang dia enhance on the flowchart of dia punya system dia. Okay, okay, ini ditunjukkan mobile communication method dia in term of flowchart dia punya communication method pun ditunjuk on the flowchart. Nanti dia akan terangkan part by part, so the panel will see the complexity of your work. Also it's important to make sure that the panel see your complexity of your work. Okay, nanti kalau dia nampak senang sangat, you do not go really deep and explaining the right thing, mungkin dia akan cakap oh you punya kerja ni senang, something like that. Sebenarnya you buat this thing, however you do not show it. Jadi sayanglah and then contoh macam ni. And then the result on result part, kita akan tunjukkan apa yang kita nak highlight So dalam case ni keyword dia macam biasa, dia mesti ada tulis perkataan higher good So meaning daripada result tu kalau you tengok dia akan tunjuk improve reading by about berapa persen, okay, compared to the standalone system ataupun standard system. Okay, dia faster switching time about daripada this result that you get, you need to tell people. So what? So this is actually what we need to tell. Macam in this case, okay, daripada graph ni you tahu people will not know. You say that this will give you better switching time. Okay. Okay, so from this result, so what? You give better coverage compared to the standalone system. Okay, so this result, so what? Better coverage compared to blah blah blah. So it's you have proof here and there, and also for this graph. And whenever you show a graph or a picture or a result, you need to summarize. What does it mean? So what? Okay, in this case, dia kata 10% faster processing time, higher efficiency, accuracy, 100% accuracy, something like that. Latency, improve debt collection time, something like that. So dia dalam case ni dia buat comparison dengan existing work, so to make sure that this is actually a very new thing lah in this field. Yeah, that is our second sample. Okay, last one. And our last sample, okay, for this one, okay. This is a COM1, so this is actually resource allocation in coordinate multipoint. Okay, it's a network type of arrangement. Okay, and this is very special because this person dia arrange dia punya thesis based on contribution. Okay, so kat sini dia akan arrange dia punya organization of dia punya thesis dalam bentuk contribution. Perhaps this is chapter, I think that this is her chapter number 3, 4 and 5. Okay, dekat sini kalau you tengok dekat arrow saya ni. Okay, the arrangement a bit different. So dia start dengan introduction macam biasa, broad, general, people understand, so going to the problem, and then sama juga dia case macam saya, kita terangkan the problem statement and then we justify that we required something. Dalam case ni dia kata required sources allocation to my gate. This is blah blah blah, and then you require RA approach to achieve optimal network performance. Because of this problem, we required optimized RA approach. And last one is efficient RA incorporate frequency. You need to for cross layer design. Okay, this arrangement, okay, sama lebih kurang macam saya. Okay, so ini dia punya strategi, tak apa saya tak cerita. So dia akan come up with this objective. This objective is reflecting yang tadi lah. Okay, so macam saya pun memang akan ada main goal. Okay. And then you nampak kat sini objective 1, objective 2, objective 3. Dalam case this arrangement, dia jadikan every objective 1 is one chapter and one chapter. Okay. Okay, ini dia punya scope of research. Boleh buat juga macam ni. Okay, no problem. Okay, and then ni dia punya research contribution lah yang dia nak maklumkan. This is based on objective 1, objective 2 and objective 3. Okay, so in term of dia punya literature, okay, dia pergi very general, okay, so dia pergi pada design, pergi kepada frame, so dia pergi tengok pada optimization method. Kat sini dia tunjuk related work dia dalam bentuk kategori. RA tu, dia ada jenis-jenisnya. So dia mention kat sini siapa author dia, feature dia apa, limitation dia apa. Yang ini dari segi kategori suboptimal user selection. Kan this is in term of RA algorithm. Yang ini dia pilih the best and the most near to kerja dia. Okay, ni Mac layer. Okay, from here that, okay, this is research motivation. Okay, just keep it. Okay, so okay, dia akan start lah. So kalau tadi kita tengok, this is the title. So resource allocation in coordinate multi-point LTE advanced network. Okay, this, if you mention this keyword, then this keyword need to be in your introduction nanti. Okay, and also how dia, saya nak tunjukkan dia macam mana dia arrange in this chapter. Okay, contoh the first one, before dia start, sebab dia adalah resource allocation, so dia generalkan dulu, dia akan cerita sikit pasal resource design approach. So dia kata this is the RA algorithm. Kita ada this one, LRA, kita ada ORA dan kita ada CDORA. So dia dah tunjukkan. So dia punya objective number 1, 2 and 3. So kalau tengok kat sini dia punya flowchart of research method. Nampak dia dah pecahkan juga. Dia akan tengok this is objective number 1, objective number 2 and objective number 3. Dekat sini dia akan come up with chapter has contribution 1, objective 1, objective 2 and objective 3 on the research method. Jadi dia akan masuk kepada network model sebab because of the nature of the way dia present dia punya work, system work diagram. Jadi simulation baru dia terus masuk contribution. So this is starting from, this is objective number 1. Okay, so dia tunjuklah the problem formulation, dia highlight terus kat sini, open form, complex, computational complexity increase with K, and then this is dia punya proposed framework lah for the number 1 tadi. Okay, saya tak nak cerita lah yang ni Okay, this is a flow chart. Okay, nampak result. Dia akan cakap, you get this one, so what? Dia kata in this case, improve up to 36%, increase between 10 to 15%. Reduced by 19% to 24%. So every result you mesti conclude. So what? So what? Why this is very important? Okay. So average improvement of 60%, enhance up to 38%, and then they conclude. From my objective number 1, dia cakap here dia kata network sum improve to 36, fairness index 10 to 15%. Dia kata network spectral efficiency 60%, 38, 24. So nampak how dia tunjukkan result of your work that to show that yeah, my work is really good. Okay. Okay, so yang ini, okay, ini akan masuk, dia masuk kepada objective number 2 lah untuk contribution number 2 dia, optimize resource allocation ORA. Okay, dia start because of the nature of dia punya field, so dia akan start dengan problem formulation, framework, dia punya algorithm, and then dia punya flow chart. Nampak dia sequence dia sama je. And then dia tunjukkan performance lah. Okay, kat sini. And then okay, dia cakap okay from here, okay, dia kata from this result dia improve up to 70% compared to LRA. LRA is the previous one, objective number 1. And then they reduce down to 41%. Nampak tak the keyword here? Improve up to, compare to, increase up to, enhance up to 80%. Okay, so they conclude. After that, they conclude for the second contribution. Okay, and the third objective or third contribution, dia cover this one. Cerita juga benda yang sama. Okay, konsep yang sama. Dia flowchart. Then you ada result. And ini cerita lah. So at last they concludekan the improve up to 77 and 33% respectively, and the fairness index. Okay, so that is how we show your result in this kind of arrangement. Okay, saya punya arrangement lain and this person is dia lain. Dia terus tunjuk method dan terus tunjuk result. Okay, itu cara dia punya thesis writing by chapter contribution. That is to be decided by your supervisor, not you. Okay. However, you can discuss with your supervisor. Okay. Itu dan dia concludekan lah. Okay, dia concludekan macam saya simple je conclude tadi kan. Macam dalam case ni dia kata successfully realized. Dia terus letak ni lah all the result here. Okay. For objective number 1, objective number 3 and objective number 3 lah, 2 and 3. Okay. So ini dia punya future work lah, and then dia just sembang-sembang lah. Okay. Okay, I think that everyone is okay. Okay, let me
Yes,
open.
doctor. The lecture was interesting, though some people sent some questions from the chat.
Yeah.
Before, maybe if we finish, we start with the Q&A. People can ask directly, or still people can write question on the chat box. But before then, if you are through the lecture, I think there is one question. Uh,
Umar, I haven't finished yet
okay,
actually.
okay, okay, okay.
Just
Go
on
ahead.
the sample side.
Yeah, yeah.
About 10 minutes more, can I can continue?
Go ahead, doctor. Go
Okay,
ahead.
a bit more, a bit more. I forgot that I have another few more slide. Okay, let me how to share again. Sorry. Minta maaf if this is quite heavy for you to digest. However, this is uh, what I share with you is one of the I think that one of my best lah reference from friends lah during my PhD work lah. Okay, just to make sure that you have that tips. Okay, as I mentioned previously, you need to have books for you to refer during your writing, because sometimes we get lost and we do not know an appropriate word or sentence need to be put in our thesis. So this really will help you a lot. Okay, so you need to write first and then follow the grammar. Okay, because if not, you are thinking about the grammar and writing, that it will make your idea ni lah fly away. Okay, make sure that just write, and then do the grammar afterwards. Make sure that you need to understand that each chapter have their own tense. Some chapter needs to have past tense, present, and future tense. Okay, you can refer to the books. And for example, if abstract, you need to have. If you are talking about past, then you need to. If you are talking about the actual result, then it need to be past tense, present tense. Introduction, usually we have present and present perfect tense. Method, we usually have past and present tense. And result, usually we have past and present. Past is when you talk about the actual result. Present is when you explaining the diagram and figure. Okay, discussion and also the conclusion. Okay, so you need to really know. Sometimes panel dia tengok je you punya thesis, then you know, okay, this, okay, mesti you tak tahu ni kan. I should talk in which tense in each chapter. Depends on the way arrangement. Okay. So this is another book also that you can refer to, the academic writing for graduate students. You can also find it at Google. You just Google and find the PDF version of this book. It's really good for you to know when you are dealing with problem, and then which kind of phrases that you can use, and it will help you a lot here. So in terms of the linking words, I usually during my PhD I usually refer to the linking words. What kind of word that I use in my writing to make sure that it up to the standard. Okay, you can see, and always discuss you with your supervisor. Okay, do not decide big things by your own. You need to discuss before you go deep into your thesis. So you need to at least discuss with your supervisor about your table of content. You kata, I would like to arrange something like this. In my time, I do present to my supervisor my table of content, just the table of content, and there's a few results inside there. And then my supervisor did not agree, and then I redo back. However, I haven't start my thesis in a very macam very ni lah, current way lah. Saya baru macam very surface, and then dia tak setuju, and then I reshuffle. Bila I reshuffle, I discuss first, and I reshuffle. Dia tak banyak apa, tak banyak kerja lah. Maksudnya banyak kerja. However, you do not waste your time. Macam tu. You need to discuss. Show your table content. In my time I present present, I would like to organize something like this because my result is something like this and this is this lah. Show him, and then he kata, no, I do not want you this kind of arrangement. I would like you to do this. Biasalah tu. Waktu tu memang apa? At that time memang macam tu lah kan. However, okay, we are learning. It's normal, okay. And then if you have problem, please discuss with your friends. Sometimes your friend kan dia cakap, sometimes will give you a new idea and jalan keluar, escape rude. Kadang-kadang kita tak perasan. Sometimes we do not realize it. Sometimes bila you punya your friend saying something, then dia kadang-kadang trigger your, trigger something in your mind. Usually when during my PhD, I do meet with my friend at 4 o'clock, something like this. Okay, kita akan we are in a workstation. Then we do after that we come to say hi to our friend kan, macam mana. It's about 30 seconds something, no, 30 minutes something like that to discuss. So at least you know, you have sometimes your friend tu dia akan discuss something, then will trigger you, and then you discuss with him or will help some of the process lah in later lah, and also will comfort you lah. Jangan stress sangat. Kalau stress, cara make sure that you try to solve your stress first, and then come back. Kalau tak, if you keep stress and then you put stress more and more and more and more, takut we worried that you will get ni lah, blown away. Itu we do not want that. Okay, it's normal. PhD, it will be adventurous, and you need to stay positive. Always stay positive. Okay, and visualize yourself that you are going to graduate. Just visualize every day. I do that during my PhD, and sometimes I was very scared to visualize this. However, I visualize it every morning. Okay, it's a bit stressful. However, yes, I would like to achieve this. Okay, and then it really helped you to get back on track lah. Okay, and stay positive and stay strong and be brave, insyaAllah. Okay, jangan risau. That is a process of learning, because you are learning a new thing. Bila kita berada we are learning new things, then kita keluar daripada comfort zone, and then it's normal to get stressed. And however, keep growing and seek help if you in a very severe condition. Itu penting. Seek help is very important lah. Doa tu biasalah. And take care of your health, and your speed doesn't matter. Forward is forward. Means that sometimes you can be very, very fast. You can sometimes go slow, depends on the day. However, the main thing is forward is forward. Jangan putus asa. Okay, it's a process. You need to be you need to go forward. Okay, sometimes it's always simply impossible until it is done. It's just like macam you are going hiking on Everest kan, Mount Everest. Bila we are trying to achieve at the top, the thing will be more difficult lah. Kita akan rasa sangat macam very difficult. However, it is impossible. No, it's not impossible. Meaning it's possible. Macam tu. Boleh. Susah sikit memang biasa. Tapi after that, you achieve je, and ni lah, berbaloi lah. It's worth it. Okay. So be strong. Okay. So I think that's and my sharing for today. I hope that it gives you an idea on how is actually the way you design your thesis. Make sure try to map it. Just try to sketch first after this talk. Try to sketch. Do you really understand and see your thesis arrangement and organization of the whole of your work? Okay. So I think that's it. So I will pass back to Omar if there is a question.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor. Doctor has taken us from the scratch to the top. The journey was good. The journey was excellent, and we really appreciate your time. Doctor was able to deliver a wonderful lecture. She started from the format of the thesis. She also emphasized that we should frequently visit our supervisor, so that everything we do should depend on our supervisor, because your supervisor is the one to give you the guide on what you want. So Doctor also went further to to encourage us to try and look for more papers and also at least 3 theses in our area. It will guide us a lot. And we should be able to differentiate between master's and PhD thesis. It's also important. She went down to work easy flow and the issues to objectives, scope, title, down to result and discussion. And what interests me most is the objectives. She said our objectives should be SMART, should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and tangible, which is SMART. And anywhere you see somebody, that's why they said before you are a PhD holder, you have to be a smart person. So this is where the smartness comes in from the objectives. Once you have your objectives good, then definitely the end will be also good for you. So she emphasized on us to be smart with our objectives. We should always discuss with our supervisor. She emphasized more on it. And also we should discuss with our friends, because what you think you cannot get from your friend, if you hide your problem, maybe it is at his tip to solve the problem for you. So it is good for us to also always discuss with our friends so that we should be able to have an easy journey in our life. But then we have to take care of our health. She also emphasized on it. Yes, PhD is like a zigzag. Definitely you will get it. Whatever the situation is, just be focused, be determined. Inshallah, at the end of the day, you will smile. Thank you, Doctor, for your excellent presentation. I would also like to remind us that we should try and fill the feedback form. It's already on the chat. Everybody should fill it, please. It will guide us to know the future program and also to prepare a certificate for you for this program. Before we go to Q&A, you can ask questions either through the chat box or you can ask directly from your mic. If you are not talking, please off your mic. And lastly, after the Q&A, I will encourage each and every one of us to on our camera so that we can have a group photos. Without taking much of your time, I will open the floor for Q&A. But before then, let's answer. There's a question on the chat, Doctor. I don't know if you can attend to it from Ada. In the first place, he encouraged and commended you for an excellent presentation, your time and what have you. Thank you for such. Somebody asked, can we get the slide? Yes, definitely, inshallah, at the end of the day, you will get the slide. Ada asked, Doctor, may I ask on how to come up with a scope? I need you to explain more, scope of the study.
Okay, I will comment on that. On the term of the scope of study, better for you to look at your objective, and then if your objective are really specific, then you need to read general, so you need to scope it. You know, and your supervisor know in which area that you need to cover, because this scope you need to discuss with your supervisor. Okay, you can propose to your supervisor, and your supervisor usually know what is the boundary of your scope of work. Meaning that you know that you have 2 or 3 years, or you have 4 years, and that scope is really helping you to make sure that you finish on time. Although you have a very broad scope, and then perhaps more work need to be done. Okay, so this is important. So please, my advice is scope it within your objective. For each objective, make sure you have your scopes of your work, so the panels will know and have boundaries of your work that you've been covered. Yes, your supervisor know the best on that scope. Okay, hope that answer Aida's question.
Thank you. More questions. The floor is open for Q&A. You can ask direct by on your mic, and also you can send through the chat box. Ada said, thank you, Doctor. Very well. She understood your answer.
So for Samuel Abudin, you asking about mind map. Okay, so it's actually mind map is actually a general general method by Tony Buzan. Okay, we visualize our idea in graphic, something like the previous one that I showed to you. So it start with the main idea and then going to the subsection depends on your topic. In this case, if you have your thesis, then it will come with your problem, and then down to your objective, and then down to your scope, and then down to your literature review, methodology, result and discussion, and lastly your conclusion of your results. Okay, that is the mind map of your thesis, how you design your thesis using mind map. Okay, I hope that that answer.
Okay. No question. Somebody said, Benedict, greeting to all from UPN. Yeah. So the lecture is
Yeah, thank you so
international.
much.
The lecture is international, not only
It's good. Okay, Sarah Chowdhury, any software for mind map? There are many software from mind maps. You have free software. You have a very mind map is. I think that uh, better for you just to draw it on the paper at the first time to get the idea. And for my one, I'm using I only use Visio. It's a very general tools lah. Visio, Visio. Okay, from Microsoft Word. So the first thing you need to do is to map first. Just use paper and pencil lah for you to get the overall idea, and then you need to discuss with the supervisor before you finalize it, and then redo, and then yeah, inshallah you will get it. Okay.
Doctor, I would like you to shed more light on, there is a particular slide you emphasize on action base. Action base.
Action base.
Yes. On your, I think one of the flow charts that link one chapter to the other chapter. There is a place on that slide, action base. I would like you to explain more on the word action base. One of your slides where it linked from one chapter to another chapter.
Oh, let me share again, see if this is the slide. Okay, let me. Is it this one?
No, go down, not this one. No, this one. No, down small, there one, this one.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Action base.
Your action base. Okay. Okay, this is a sample of, it's not mine, it's other people work. And this is how this person model his thesis. So he understand what is the relationship between chapters, and they organize it based on paragraph in every chapter. So they know this one is at paragraph number 1, 2, 3, section 1.1, section 1.2, section 1.3. So from this is actually helping you during your Viva, and also